I was raised in a Christian home with godly and nurturing parents. But this didn't prevent me from being exposed to pornography at 7 years old. This happened while I was alone with a relative when he decided to watch an R-rated film in our living room. Being young and innocent, I watched along with him, but something about the film made me feel embarrassed, yet excited and curious to keep on going. Unfortunately, this was only the beginning. The mix of guilt and pleasure in watching adult films led me to keep this as my most kept secret from my family and friends for many years. But when I was 14 years old, I surrendered my life to Jesus Christ at a high school evangelistic retreat as I finally understood what Jesus did on the cross to pay the penalty of my sins. I also surrendered my lust to Him, or at least I thought I did. It turned out that all the passion I had in the retreat was only a spiritual high. When I came back home, the temptations returned as well. Slowly but surely, I returned to my old ways and found myself struggling with lust again. This would greatly affect my perspective on purity and on my relationships, especially with women as well. I did my best to serve God despite of my secrets. I served in ministries, led my own D group, and even became one of the student leaders during my high school years. I couldn't tell my parents and my D group leader about my inner battles because of embarrassment and fear. Questions like how would they react or what would they do kept me from admitting that I was still struggling with sin. My life then became a cycle of sinning, repenting, then sinning again. Though I would ask God for His forgiveness, I was too ashamed to keep going back to God for the same sins over and over again. By God's grace, He began working in my life and allowed me to keep my purity by having stronger and God-honoring convictions. I kept a personal online curfew on myself to avoid unnecessarily sinful thoughts, and as much as possible, I don't go out alone with any girl except for my family. I also decided to pursue becoming God's best before I could find God's best for myself. I kept myself regularly accountable to a select group of people and avoided hanging out with the wrong crowd. Most of all, I kept my top priority to pursue a deeper love and intimacy with God. In short po, di na po ako lumande. God helped me overcome my battle with lust. On one night, I asked the Lord to deliver me from this bondage of mine. So a few weeks later, God answered my prayer. In a spiritual turn of events, I woke up one Sunday morning unable to breathe and with a heavy chest pain. That it caused me to kneel down and cry out to God. By God's grace, that was the moment He set me free from this bondage. I began to feel lighter and I knew God had won the battle. The effects were almost immediate. By God's grace alone, I no longer found myself gazing at women for lustful reasons, nor do I want to view porn anymore. However, I know I still need to guard myself from such temptations. When I get tempted to sin again, God would simply change my mind to do something else and become busy. And God has given me the conviction to stop watching or listening to any content that could lead to any sort of sexual temptation. Truly, God is my victorious deliverer. Today, I'm amazed at how God has worked in my life because in retrospect, I never deserved it. I sinned against my Lord and hid it especially from the people that I love. But now He is using this story for His glory. Please pray for me, for though I claim God's victory in my life, this life will always be full of temptations. Pray that I will remain a faithful witness and discipler, and that I remain close to the Lord, and that I stay accountable to my family, friends, and mentors. I'm Samuel Noel, 20 years old, once a shameful sinner, now a witness of God's life-changing grace. To my Lord Jesus Christ, for sure that true love is pure and selfless, be all honor and glory forever.